Hello, friends. You're staring at a piece of wood right here. Why? Nah. Anyway, I really like the regional differences in the newer Pokemon games because A, it allows for some older Pokemon to have a bit more time in the spotlight. Each game, they're like, we have to make new designs, we have to make new Pokemon so people are excited, but there's just so many Pokemon out there, and a lot of them end up being pretty similar anyway. Like, Alola already looks like a love disc. Um, there's quite a lot, and I do love having a number of similar Pokemon, especially Pokemon where it's like, oh, here's a fire cat, well, here's a grass cat, and stuff like that. That rhymed. But having the same Pokemon, but having regional differences not only makes it really cool how it's like, oh, these creatures evolved this way, and these creatures evolved this way, to have actual evolution in addition to their metamorphosis of sorts, it it helps make the worlds feel more alive, and it's just really cool. And it makes sense that they didn't do this earlier for like gens 1 to 5, because it's like, oh, well, the first ones happened in Japan, essentially, so all of the designs would be similar. And the designs being similar in Unova, well, Unova is supposed to be sort of like a melting pot hub of everything because it's based off of New York, so having a bunch of those Pokemon there makes sense. It's really cool, and I like it, so you can kind of retroactively fit them backwards, but I like it. It adds more lore to the Pokemon who are already existing. It helps you remember the Pokemon who are already there, and maybe you don't like the design of a Pokemon, but you like the name, and you like certain aspects about it, but you want things to be different. Well, they add in new stuff, and it's really cool, and I like that. Um, so I'm glad. I mean, if they didn't iterate designs, if they were like, well, we already have one Pokemon of this, we don't need another one, we might not have had one of my favorites, which is Alchemy, because they already had Slurpuff, which was already a meringue Pokemon. But they have a bunch of similar Pokemon anyway, and it's really cool to have the similar things evolve differently in different regions. So this way you have the fun of keeping the Pokemon and their same names, but having new designs and having new evolutions to help give them a buff for other places, like with Zigzagoon, who was already pretty well loved, but by adding in the Galarian Zigzagoon, you're able to do a bunch of other stuff, and it's really cool and nifty, and I like it. Because some Pokemon, maybe you didn't care for them before, but there's a couple of little design changes and a different backstory, and maybe those are just what you needed to like them, and now you like it again. And it's just really cool, because they're like alternate universe forms, essentially, but they make sense and can exist in the same world, and they're just on different continents, and it's cool, and it's neat, and it's nifty. I like it. And I hope that they continue to do it in the future going forward, because while Pokemon has relied on more of a gimmick sort of thing, and I still find it fun. I mean, I like Pokemon. I wish there was more to it. But Pokemon is still pretty fun. But one of the main things that makes Pokemon so strong is the designs. And I like that they add in different versions of the Pokemon when you see them, because isn't it one of the things that people love so much about Paper Mario is that you'll have like the Koopas and the Toads, and they'll have different variations on their design, so they're not just, oh, here's how this character looks. They came up with really fun ideas for jazzing up similar characters so they all feel very alive. And this is obviously to a slightly smaller extent, because it's just one extra design instead of making a whole bunch of unique sprites like for those games. But I like it when things do that, because it's fun, instead of just having them be basically a copy and paste template. So it's fun. Alright, those are my thoughts for the evening, and I hope you enjoyed them.